that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds, whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside, a treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Hello, everybody. How are you this evening? I hope everybody's having a great day. So this is Hillbilly Crime. If you've not been here before, welcome to our channel where we've got all the tea. We're here in Kentucky, at least in Letcher County anyway. My name is Elizabeth, and I don't think we're going to have Sweet Tater again. I couldn't get a hold of her. She's awful busy, y'all. This time of year, she is planting anything she can put in the ground. She is a gardener at heart. She loves her flowers and plants. You don't never buy her like a bouquet of flowers. You bring her something that's got a bulb or a root to it. She wants a tree. How is everybody this evening? RC in Kentucky, Justice in Pike County. I got your email, honey. I just ain't been able to read it yet. But we'll read it. Absolutely. Hello, Richard Smalley. How are you? Monica Johnson. Good evening, everybody. Turquoise Kitten. Good to see you. Mountain Dew Queen. I say call me Mountain Holler. I'm real hillbilly. Listen, I'm going to tell my secret. I'm about embarrassed to tell it, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. So I buy the cheap pop that's called Mountain Holler. It only comes in cans. Well, I learned a long time ago that if we buy canned pop, you end up finding half of them laying around the house half full. wasted. You got to dump them down the sink. Well, I buy them and pour them in my Mountain Dew bottle. So that way I got a lid and I don't never waste any of it. That's Hillbilly. Oh, okay. So you guys see the title of our show tonight, Shocking Truths Revealed. So there have been several things that I've been hearing along the way, and some of them I don't report them because I may only have like one source that's telling me that, right? And if I can't confirm it with some kind of other documentation or another source, unrelated source that doesn't know that person, right? So if I've got two different people who don't know each other and they're both telling me something similar or the same thing, then I feel more confident that it's true. And some things we just, some things are well known. All of this stuff just keeps getting worse and worse. Like I keep thinking, oh, well, that's just rumor. Like I'll hear something and I'll think that's just a rumor. Or I'll think a whole lot about it. I'll hear something and I'll think a whole lot about it. And I'll be like, why am I even putting this much effort and thought into this? Because there's just no way that this can be true. Hello. And then come to find out later, it wasn't that it wasn't just true. There's worse, like there's a whole lot more to it. Now we're going to look at this one article that we found, and we're going to look at a couple of them, and we're going to listen to a couple firsthand accounts, victims' accounts, anonymously. We're not going to say any identifiable information, but we're going to give a little look at some of the things that have been going on that people have had to be quiet about, who've had to be silenced or feel they've had to be silent. Because who was going to help them? And my big thing is Andy Beshear even paying attention to Eastern Kentucky? Is our Attorney General even paying attention to Eastern Kentucky? It just blows me away. All right, so let's look at this one. This is an article, and we want to do this one first because it's taken most of my hour. Wrong one. Okay, so this is from WKYT, and ex-state representative Keith Hall sentenced for bribery. Now, this was March 24th of 2016. Okay, but pay attention to the name, Keith Hall, and pay attention to where he's from and what his title is. Former state representative Wendell Keith Hall was sentenced to 7 years for bribing a federal mine official. In addition to the sentence, U.S. District Judge Karen Caldwell ordered Hall, 56, ordered, I guess is what they meant to say. Okay, ordered Hall, 56, to pay a $25,000 fine and gave him 2 years on supervised release after he serves his sentence, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Hall faced a maximum of 10 years in prison. Hall, 56, was convicted in June after the jury deliberated for more than an hour before finding Hall guilty on Friday. Investigators say Hall, who was represented House District 93, paid mine reclamation officer Kelly Shortridge for favorable treatment in connection with his official duties. District 93 covers parts of Pike County and Martin counties. Now, this is right where Judge Hall just got indicted, remember. They say between 2006 and 2011, Shortridge inspected mines owned by Hall and ignored violations in exchange for more than $46,000 in payments. Shortridge was sentenced to 2 years in prison in January. Does anybody know if this Keith Hall is related to Judge Keith Hall in Pikeville? We've got us some Pike County viewers. You all let me know. Is this Pike or is this Keith Hall Judge Hall's relative? Are they related? They say, oh, I already read that, didn't I? They say between, yeah, I read that. In 2010, a shell company, DKJ Consulting, was established in the name of Shortridge's wife. Hall then used a company that he owned, S&K Properties, to funnel money to Shortridge through DKJ in order to make the payments appear as legitimate business expenses. How often do you guys think that this kind of thing happens with these nonprofits that have popped up all over Eastern Kentucky? Do you think that they hurry up and create shell companies and other kinds? People don't, white collar crime is not something that the average person has experience in identifying. It looks very legitimate. And when people have money, well, you know, you don't think of them as a criminal. Mr. Hall's brazen scheme to corrupt an important governmental function for his personal benefit is made all the more egregious by his former status as a member of the Kentucky General Assembly. Carrie B. Harvey, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky, said after the conviction, Hall is a Democrat who represented Pike County for 14 years. Wow, wow, wow. So he was sentenced to 7 years for bribing a federal mine official. I wonder, oh, look there. Let me see if this will take us to it. Sentencing for former state rep W. Keith Hall postponed for a 4th time. See when this was. This was January 15th, 2016. So I think that was even before. Former state rep Keith Hall will have to wait even longer to find out how much time he will serve for bribing a mine inspector. Bluegrass Politics reports his new sentencing date is March 1st, 2016. So this was, 9 years ago? This is the 4th time the sentencing phase of his trial has been rescheduled. Hall was found guilty last year of bribing former state coal mine inspector Kelly Shortridge in 2009 and 2010. Hall could face up to 10 years in prison and up to a $250,000 fine, or $250,000 in fines. Okay. How often do you guys think that kind of scheme is taking place with all of this rehab money, all of this funding that is pouring into Eastern Kentucky? There are so many schemes, payroll schemes, prescription schemes, just anything you can think of. Greed just takes over and power takes over. And you don't just have one bad apple. What happens when you have one bad apple in a bag and all the rest are touching it? You know what happens. The rest of them start to rot. So I always heard the saying, when people get in, they might not be dirty when they go in, but by the time they come out, oh yeah, they are. So it's a learned thing. I keep thinking about Mickey Stines. I just keep thinking about what a threat he must have been. Mickey was trying to prosecute Edison Banks' little alleged girlfriend, the one that was living in his home, who he allegedly even had members of his own family move out so he could keep her there. And remember that Edison Banks had not passed away yet when Mickey went in that courthouse and pew-pewed the judge. Edison was still here. So he still had intimidation. He had the ability to intimidate just with his presence or his knowledge. And I don't think any of these people actually reach out and do any of the dirty work themselves. They get other people to do it for them. Several people have reached out to me since we have been doing the show. And I've had multiple people, credible sources, who said the alleged little girlfriend had came into their place of business, acting very odd and asking very offensive questions in a manner that was not normal. And they thought that she was wearing a wire. They thought that she was wired and was going in there trying to trap them, trying to get them on tape saying something bad, which they were not stupid enough to do, thank God. But they weren't even doing anything anyway. Why would she do that? Why would she even do that? It doesn't make much sense to me. But I've also had family members who said that members of their family who were in drug court, members of their family, their loved ones who were on house arrest in these programs, these revolving door programs, they'd be clean for a long time and somehow run into this specific person just out of the blue. and run around with them, and the next thing you know, they're pulling out stuff, getting them to do it with them. So they relapse. And then what happens? The very next day, they get popped with a drug test and they end up back in jail. Doesn't really seem very cool to me if that's what happened. It's all alleged, of course, but it makes me wonder, how have informants been used, and have they been used properly? Have all the rules and the regulations and stuff regarding those kinds of things been followed? And then you see some of these cases that it doesn't look like their defense attorney has done them any favors. Several cases that we've looked at, local cases, and defendants, people that we've spoken to who had serious experiences as a defendant that were not cool. Just not cool. Thanks, any days. Okay, so let's look at this other one here. This one's also from WKYT. Former Kentucky County Clerk admits to criminal charges related to office duties. Now, this was April 25th, 2025. So this was just recently. It's Irvine, Kentucky. So that's up by Richmond, a couple hours away from here towards Lexington. A former Eastern Kentucky County clerk has admitted to serious allegations against him. But listen to what the allegations are and think about what's been happening here with our audits. Think about what we read on our own audits and the questions that I've been asking this week regarding that. A former Eastern Kentucky County clerk has admitted to serious allegations. Brian Crow resigned last year after allegations surfaced by the state auditor. An audit showed that Crow overspent available funds, failed to segregate duties, which is something that we've seen year after year after year on Letcher County's audits, and made monetary miscalculations. He pleaded guilty to abuse of public trust and other charges in Estill Circuit Court. His attorney says Crow suffered a series of horrific life events in a short amount of time, which most of us do go through very traumatic times in our lives. That's no excuse for this kind of behavior. I just love how they like to throw stuff like that out. Oh, well, we had a death in the family. Our kids have been going through such horrific times. Okay, it really does. Life ain't fair. Life is not fair. But there's no excuse, because if I did something, they sure wouldn't be excusing me. He had a son that was electrocuted in front of him. He gave him CPR. In January of 23, his father died, and that was the same date all of this stuff started, said defense attorney Tom Jones after the court hearing Friday morning. And our prosecutor is recommending a prison sentence of 5 years, but Crow's attorney says they will seek probation before his final sentencing on May 23rd. There's that bank employee accused of stealing $241,000. And she said, oh, well, it's just a little. Here he is. See if we can watch it. It takes too much of my stuff. All right. Now, we've got a couple. Let me go up here and we'll check in with you guys first before I keep going. Alternative homesteading. Good to see you, darling. They are all bad apples here and need to be replaced. You know, the sad thing is you don't have anything to choose from. Whenever you go to vote, there's only certain names on the ballot. What are you going to do? It doesn't matter if you decide, well, I'm just going to boycott it and I'm not going to vote. My vote's not going to count anyway. Look at how many people are going to go vote for the a-hole. It just, I don't know. I don't have a good thing to say about it. I don't know what to say. I really don't. Because every time somebody that really wants to make a difference does put their name in the hat, they become a target. A lot of times, as soon as you put your name in the hat, if you have any chance of winning that spot, what are you doing? You are taking the other person's income. That's what it's seen as here. If you win an election, you've got a secure income for the next however many years you've got it. And I think that is the main motivating factor of them all these elections around here. I mean, I'm sure, yes, people want to see our area better. You know, they want to see growth. They want to see tourism. They want to see change. But when you keep voting the exact same people in that have gotten us into the positions that we are in right now, there ain't nothing going to change. How much money have they kept putting towards that hotel down there on Main Street next to the courthouse? We can go back through every single local newspaper and see, because they've written an article every time, how many millions and millions and millions of dollars have been supposedly to go for that hotel. And it's still in the same shape that it's been for the last 10 years. The roof fell in many years ago. And I saw it on the newspaper, the front page of the paper down there at the grocery store today. They've got another like $3 million to go towards it. What'd they do with all the money that they had to go towards it before? I mean, I would like to see some kind of a report that shows what they spent that money that's already been put towards it. Like, where are you on the progress? Can we see the receipts? Can we see how much progress has been made for those several millions and millions of dollars? I'd like to see that. But I don't even know where you would go to find that kind of stuff. You know, we look at these audits and we get what documents we can find. But, you know, most of us are not really welcome at these, or at least I don't feel welcome at city council meetings and stuff like that, fiscal court meetings. I think it's just a shame. I think it's a shame. Oh, geez. I'm getting closer and closer to being on time. You are just fine. They get neighbors to do their dirty work. Well, honey, we got a set of neighbors in my neighborhood. I've never seen this much contact in my life with state police, city police, CPS, dog wardens. I have never in my life seen this much contact and not a dang thing happened to them. Not a thing. Not a thing. It's a shame. We ain't even started on that topic. Sunny days. We need to support people like Elizabeth. Her are exposing corruption. Things need to change. They definitely do. 14 more likes to hit 100. Hit that like button for us, y'all. It helps us a whole lot. It's going to get us out to a bigger audience of people. And that's what we need for, these victims' voices. That's one of the things that we do on this platform, is that we are able to give a voice to the voiceless. And I just take all the flack. We ain't got nowhere to go but up, y'all. Nowhere to go but up. And we believe and we have faith that the Lord is going to grow this channel. Oh, yeah. People are finally going to be able to be heard. Laurie says there should be votes for who goes on the ballot. Shame X. Some people vote the way their folks did. Some vote issues. Listen, that's exactly the truth. We end up a lot of times being little models of our parents. I know I ended up registering what my mother was. And I didn't really understand the difference between the two. You can register to vote when you're 18. How many people really know what their vote does and what the different offices are and do that they're casting a vote for? A lot of people have no clue. I said it this last time. A criminal court judge, he went on to the Supreme Court of, I think it was the Supreme Court or the Appeals Court. I think it was the Supreme Court of Kentucky. And whenever he retired, I guess he retired, he quit being a judge in a criminal court. He decided to come back home here in Letcher County and run for the judge executive office. The judge executive is not a criminal court judge, does not have anything to do with criminal cases, has absolutely nothing to do with the justice system at all. A judge executive is over the county money. They're over the fiscal court, over the magistrates of the county. They're over the county's money. Well, whenever he decided to retire from the court system and come home, I guess he decided he was going to get him a sweet little position as he's retired, and he ran for a judge executive. Well, I couldn't, it just made a big impression on me. Whenever I saw the campaign signs that he put up all over the place, they were vote for Judge so and so. And I was like, oh, okay. So all these people who knew him as a criminal court judge, they think that's what they're voting for. Like, people have no idea. Like, they just kind of played on that ignorance, I guess, of a lot of people. All right. Now, this other one that we've got here, let me see if I can click on it. Yes, okay. This is a story that recently happened, and it gives you a better look at how these nonprofits run. Okay, let me pull that down. Exposed. The Gucci goddess, con artist Janet Mello, admits stealing $108 million from U.S. Army to buy luxury homes and cars. As a financial manager for the Army, she set up a fake NGO. That's a non-government organization. Okay? So these groups, like what I've been talking about down there in Whitesburg, that are popping up left and right, that are not nonprofit groups, but some of them are and some of them aren't. They are for-profit groups, but they're not government. They're non-governmental. She set up fake NGO and stole $108 million from taxpayers. Buys 31 homes. I mean, who can even buy? Why would you buy 31 homes? I just want one. And 80 vehicles paid for by you. She incorporates a fake children's charity and awards herself an Army contract. U.S. Army approves this children's charity, a totally fake nonprofit. There's absolutely nothing for children. 7-year period, she steals $108 million from you and I, the taxpayer. All of it goes into her pocket. Not a dime of that money goes to the kids. It's all going into her bank accounts. She spends the money. 31 different homes in Colorado, Maryland, New Mexico, Texas, and Washington. She bought 80 motor vehicles, 80 cars. Packages were arriving every day from high-end retailers. The UPS guy is the one who gave her the nickname, the Gucci Goddess, because he was constantly delivering these high-end items to this McMansion that she bought. Do you know how easy that is to do? Do you know how easy this is? All of this white collar crime. You know how easy it is to do a payroll scheme. Oh, Judge Hall, who you think his unidentified assistant was, y'all? Did he have any family members that were lawyers? Did he have any spouses that was lawyers? Having kids that were lawyers? It's interesting, isn't it? Let's look here at Letcher County. How many financial schemes do you think, if they actually started looking, if they actually did a forensic accounting of all of those offices in Whitesburg, all of the ones where the audits every year, I've been asking this question on a lot of our shows. How can the audits say the same thing every year and they never fix it? The scope of these audits is not to go in and identify specific instances of waste, fraud, or abuse. So that's not what they were designed to do. The way that I read it, even if they were to find something, that would not be something that they would write in their audit, because that's outside of their scope. They're limited. They are very limited in what their design is, what the audit's purpose is, which I find very loophole-ish anyway. We'll come up with our own new word, loophole-ish. Kind of sounds bad, doesn't it? All right. So let me pull this up here. I was looking for my glasses and I couldn't find my glasses. So I'm going to have to zoom it in. 49 more likes to hit 150. Hit it for us, y'all. Come on. Come on. RC in Kentucky, I can help with that, Elizabeth. I can. I know my way around the courthouse and the room in the public records. Well, girl or boy, I don't know which one you are. Let me know. We need all the diggers we can get. We got some good diggers, y'all. I got some fantastic diggers. And open records. We need people who can do open records. So if you're good on doing open records requests, hillbillycrime@gmail.com. If you are interested in helping us out. I'm not great at it. So, we have to know our weaknesses and our strengths. And I finally figured out the shop. So I'm one step closer to getting the merch out. I've just got to go back and redo everything that I had already done before because I didn't do it the right way. Lori Dean. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. That's right. Expecting different results. Keep repeating the same behavior. Expecting different results. Ain't gonna work, y'all. Why don't they investigate where all the money is going? That's right. That's right. They'd be able to find it, because I am of the opinion that a lot of people have been pretty sloppy over the years because they didn't think that they ever had anything to worry about. The golden boy was on the perch. And as long as golden boy sat there, nobody really had to worry about anything. It worked that way for a very, very long time. And I think that once Ben got caught, I think that the cell phones and the computers and all of the devices would tell everything. I think that. I don't know, because I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know who all would be allowed, like who all in the courthouse are they allowed to serve a search warrant on their devices. We're talking about a sitting sheriff who walked into a AOC run courthouse, state of Kentucky, pew-pewed a sitting judge in his robe. That's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. And it's a little bit bigger of a deal than for a certain few to be like, nope, don't look here. There ain't nothing to see here. Don't look this way. It's none of your business. This is a private matter. Like, where does that even make any sense? It sure would not be that way in any other corner of the world if this happened. I think there wouldn't be anything off limits. If this happened in Louisville, I don't think anything would be, or well, and maybe Louisville's a bad example because the corruption in Kentucky is just unbelievable. They've had several watchdog stories and stuff on the corruption in Louisville. So that's kind of a bad example. But if that had happened anywhere else, I don't know what would be off limits in that regard. I would think that they would pull everybody's that was working in the courthouse. Is that too broad? Maybe. Maybe just everybody who worked in the courtroom and the sheriff's department. I don't think that it would be so limited that it would just be the judge and the sheriff. That seems to me like that would be too limited. Even though it's not a whodunit, it's a why. But I don't know. I don't know the rules of evidence like that. I'm not trained that way, so I just don't know. Just don't know. Okay. So I'm going to read. I've got a couple of them here. And we're just going to read and see what kind of experiences some people have had. So we've got people who are law-abiding citizens here, okay, going through these situations. And their personal experiences should show the true character of certain people. We're not going to name the person, but it is an official. So one of our local officials saw this lady, and she was at a car wash cleaning out her car down in Whitesburg. Well, this certain official pulls up beside of this lady at the car wash and just kind of lingers there, just hanging out, just lingering around. I've had people do me that way before, men. Just checking you out. They don't say anything. It just kind of gives you the creeps sometimes. Well, she leaves, and this certain official follows her to a local store and then followed her around the store and then back out to her car. She said that she had never spoken one word to this man in her life, and she had no idea who he even was at the time. But she ended up finding out who he was later on, and it freaked her out real bad. She said all her life she'd heard rumors, but, like most of us, we've all heard the rumors about a lot of people. But, none of us really, if we've not been in those situations, then we can't say, right, that we've been there, because we ain't. Well, she said that she was really, really scared after that. And she was afraid that he would be able to use his power in some way against her, or for whatever. I mean, how do you ever know what somebody else will use or abuse their position to do? We really don't. Never know. She said for a long time, just everywhere she would go, he would show up. She would see him. She said, I don't know how he knew where I was going or where I was going to be, but he would be there. She said she had to stop walking in the evenings. She had to start changing her own lifestyle and things that she liked to do because she felt like she was being stalked. She was afraid to go anywhere alone. She said that it got so bad that she eventually told a family member, a male family member. And that male family member went to that official's office to speak to him and tell him about it. Let's see. Actually, they didn't go to that official's office. They went to somebody else's office to talk to them to try and get some help on what they should do. So they say that family member and the person that they went to for help ended up going to that person's office to confront him about what he was doing. And she said that they made it perfectly clear that he needed to stop doing what he was doing. And that she was not one that they needed to be messing with. And so that specific person backed off. And she said that every time that she would see them after that they would stare her down. Mean mug. Mean mugger. But she's never felt safe, and that's the end of it. But she's never felt safe since then. And that's just one person that we're talking about. This behavior, from what I have uncovered, the shocking truths are being revealed. They're being revealed. It wasn't with the other higher ups, that Sabrina Adkins was talking about in her proffer in the Ben Fields investigation. There is a circle of people that have broken promises. They've broken codes of conduct. They've broken ethical rules up and down, left and right. Appearances of impropriety. We just blew that out of the water. You got to remember, how are all these people connected? Andy Beshear, his daddy used to be the governor. Andy's daddy is the one, unless I'm wrong, which I don't think I am, but it was Andy's daddy who appointed Kevin Mullins to the district judge. Then Andy Beshear comes into office several terms later. His son, and he's the one who's dealing with all of Letcher County now. Through the flood, through appointing the open positions like Matt Butler. And he's a real peach. Putting all that stuff up on social media, accusing me of things that I didn't do. Intimidating people on probation, parole, drug court. I mean, I don't know how he didn't pew himself in the foot big time. How can he prosecute anybody in this county fairly with an unbiased? Still running his mouth, pulling favors, trying to pull favors. Being very political all over the place. I mean, is Andy Beshear even paying attention to any of this mess? Yeah, I'm critical. I'm very critical when people abuse their positions for several different reasons. For whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. but most importantly, when they don't do the things that they're supposed to do. In the justice system. Miss Terry, these are generational voters that vote for local generation connected in politics. Absolutely. You know, and I also want to say this too. When people, and I've seen it myself since I was young, a lot of police officers or members of law enforcement, it doesn't matter what agency they're in, doesn't matter if they're a lawyer, it doesn't matter if they're a judge, it don't matter. Just somewhere in the legal community, law enforcement, a lot of them cheat on their spouses. I mean, it's just a sad, ugly truth. They do. Well, who do you think they're cheating with? They're usually not cheating with somebody else that's going to church on Sunday, you know, or who's got a real good job in an office down the street somewhere, you know. That's not who they're usually cheating with. No, they're usually cheating with whoever they hooked up with at the bar that weekend, or women that they're taking to jail, women that they're over on the house arrest program. Because it's not about finding somebody new and leaving their wives. No, they don't have any intention on leaving their wives. They want to stay with their wives. A lot of them do. They want to keep it secret. They don't want their wife to find out that they had a quickie somewhere with somebody that, you know, that's all they was looking for. They weren't looking for a new girlfriend. They're not looking for somebody who's going to get attached and cause them problems. They're not looking for somebody who's going to get jailed. You have to put this stuff into context. So, if somebody does come out and try and tell any of it, what do you think happens? The wives get mad. The wives, their families, their friends, they all get mad. And who do you think's going to be the one that takes the blame, takes the fall? It's the girl who, I'd say, ended up being coerced. I can stop up here in the holler and we do this and I won't take you to jail. How about that? I'll take them handcuffs back off of you. I'll throw this ope out the window. Crush it. I won't charge you with it. Ben Fields is not a unique case. He was not the only one. He was just the sacrificial lamb. And I think everybody kind of got too focused in on like the VHS tapes. No. Look at what era we are in right now. Everybody's got a phone in their hand. Everybody's kind of got a certain amount of an addiction to social media or their phone. A whole lot of people do. I mean, you can deny it all you want to, but most of us do. Can't stay off Facebook all day or whatever, TikTok. How many people about lost their mind when TikTok was banned for a whole day? Well, what has increased with the increase of social media and the advancements in technology and the increase in our own dependence and use of it, of our phones? You got a whole lot more people taking naked pics of themselves and sending them out. You got a whole lot more people who are doing it online in many different forms. You got a whole lot of youngins right now harming themselves because you got a whole lot of people who are trying to trick them into sending a picture of themselves. Mama, I'll call her back. And when they fall into this peer pressure and send this picture, this naked picture of themselves, they have them do it with their face in it. Oh, yeah. Even our bunch here, even our officials, even our bunch here don't know not to put their big mug in the picture or the video. That's what I'm saying. They do it stupidly, but they do it. These poor kids are then told that they're going to share it. They're going to show it to their church. They're going to show it to their friends. They're going to pass it around to their school. They're going to show it to their parents. And the kids don't, and you got to give us money. If you give us $5,000, we won't show it. Well, they give them whatever money they can come up with, but they still threaten to show it. And these kids end up thinking it's the end of the world, and they they hurt themselves. This is happening. It's an epidemic across our country. Athletes, popular kids. Now, you know how many times I've tell my kids, don't ever, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they promise you. I don't care how much you think you're in love. Do not ever do that, ever. And they're like, oh, I know, Mom. I know, Mom. I know, Mom. But it's a different story when you're sitting there on the phone with a love interest and you've got all them juices flowing in your brain, these love juices flowing in your brain. And you think, oh, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. And you want to please them, and they're asking you, and they're asking you, and they're asking you, trying to get them. Well, can you imagine one of our public officials or multiple of them trying to get girls to send them their pics? That's a little inappropriate, ain't it? If you're an elected official, you probably shouldn't be doing that. We're all human beings. We've got personal lives. But you got to have better judgment than that if you are going to fill a role that that's that important. And any elected official role, any elected role is important. And you probably shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I don't know if there's a law against it, but it sure doesn't look good. I can tell you. Especially when it's surrounded by all of this stuff that we're talking about. A possible sex trafficking ring. I mean, we've had females that have had to leave. They allegedly felt that they had no choice but to leave a local swimming pool because they kept getting hit on and hit on and hit on by somebody. I mean, don't make that. Take a hint. Don't make a nuisance of yourself. But it's just my opinion, of course. Shame X. Our city voted for a lab to address a backlog of SMEX kits. The lab does everything but that. I'm sorry. Well, see you later. Please do a quick rundown on local election processes, what offices are open, how to see qualifications, how to get on the ballot, take the intimidation factors out, and maybe more people would run. Well, that's a good idea. We'll work on that. We'll do a show on that sometime. Thanks. That's a good suggestion. I did quite a bit of work at. All right. Every cent spent should be accounted for with proof. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like common sense. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. And that's how it is anywhere else. I don't see how you can just keep messing this stuff up. Just administration after administration after administration. Just keep messing this stuff up. And it's kind of like, well, okay, let's just put that behind us. Let's look forward, and we're going to do better next time. Oh, stop. Pump the brakes. No, we can't just move on. Give us another 5 million and we'll do better this time, I promise. We'll make sure. No, where did the last 5 million go? Show us. Why make it so hard for the people who are voting you into office? Find what you're producing. Like, show us your work. Show us what you have produced in the last 8 years. I mean, if you've been there 8 years, you should have one heck of what's the word I'm looking for? A portfolio? For lack of a better word. Like, show us what you've done. And I don't want to hear in general, stuff that I want to see the proof. I want to see the numbers. And I want to see it in a format that makes sense, that we can read it. We can tell what is what. You know? I'm sure, honey. I'm sure. 49 more likes to hit 150. I think I went back too far. Y'all hit that like button for us. It gets us out to a bigger audience of people. And you know what that is? That's a bigger audience of victims. And it's a bigger audience of people who might care about what we're talking about. Our society does not work without a free press. That's true. I'm so grateful to hear your voice, to see the spotlight. Well, thank you, honey. You can take the Mountain Dew plastic bottles, take one drink out of it, and put it in the freezer. After a while, you get wonderful Mountain Dew slushy. Wow. Good idea, bud. Thanks. Thanks. Mary May. I worked for CPS for 6 years. A system that's supposed to be in the best interest of the children fails children and families every day. I've got so much video off my own security cameras for this mess up here. Nobody cares. I'm telling you, nobody cares. Not changing mine. I can vote against candidates twice this way, sandbagging. I don't know what that means. What is bad is knowing whatever you are registered locally, you are getting a ballot for that party you registered. Yep. You sign in by your registered vote title. Does anyone realize that? Yes. So if it's a primary, the primary, whatever you have registered, and we don't get into party politics on this show, okay? So we don't attack one side or the other. We're not pro one side or the other. I vote both ways. I vote for whoever I think is best for that job. I don't vote straight party. I've never been that way. And if it's a primary, then you're only allowed to vote for the people who have threw their name in the hat for that. I don't know. Let me get all my stuff together and I'll be able to tell it in a better way. I'm afraid I'll confuse everybody. So like say if you're a Democrat and you got 5 people, Democrats who threw their name in to run for, say, the sheriff's race. Well, the primary in May or whenever it is, if you're a Democrat, you have to choose between those 5 people. Now, there's other Republicans who are also going to be running in that general election, but you don't vote for them. Whoever is registered as a Republican, they will then get to vote for, say there's 5 Republicans running for sheriff. So if you're a Republican, you're going to have to pick from those 5 who you want to represent the Republicans in the general election against the Democrat. And the Democrat people are going to be voting for who they want to represent out of their 5 people to represent Democrats to run against the Republican in the general election. Now, once you get to the general election, you can vote either way. You don't have to vote straight Republican or Democrat. You can vote for whichever one you want. Doesn't matter what you're registered as. But in the primary, it does matter. So if you're a registered Republican or Democrat, then you don't get a say in who the Republican is that you send for the general. If I said that good. Gucci goddess. Yeah. I was about to say something really bad, but I won't. Houses and cars are tax deductible too. Yep. Mercy sakes, NGO equals money incredibly. And I'll tell you something that we figured out. So if you have a lot of property, or if you have a piece of property and it's been abandoned, nobody lives there, well, there's still taxes that are owed on that property. Say you've got a whole big bunch of years of taxes that haven't been paid. They're in delinquent taxes on that property. Well, what we learned, if I'm not mistaken, and if anybody knows different, let me know. These companies would come into these little areas like here, and they would find properties, houses, that were abandoned and that they were in delinquent tax, whatever. They would pay the taxes on that property because they paid all the taxes up on that property. Somehow, they get access to that. Somehow they have rights to that, unless I'm wrong. And I don't think I am. Somebody let me know. Tweak it. Let me know which parts I got right and which parts I got wrong. And then they are able, once they have that and they've paid all the taxes on that, then they are able to write somehow they're able to write the value of that property off on their business. So if they've got a huge business, right, some big chain business that's worth a whole lot of money, and they go in and they buy up these properties, somehow, whatever the value of that property is, then they don't have to pay tax on that amount, that value amount. It's something like that. We had some properties that was next to mommy that was like that. It was done that way. They came in and bought up all the property tax on it. There's a property that we looked at that was in heirship, something like that. So it ended up, so the parents died and there was like 15 kids or something, and it was in heirs. So 15 kids had, but nobody ever paid the tax on it. House is falling down. It's just nasty. It really needs to be tore down. It's an eyesore. It's dangerous. Brings snakes and rats and just not a good situation. Well, mom wanted to pay the tax up on it so we could get the property and tear that house down so it wouldn't be so bad, next to my house. But there's just a whole lot of loopholes, and there's a whole lot of things that people can get around. They've got a big fund down there at Letcher County fiscal court. We found it in the audits. Supposed to be some kind of a buyout grant that they got. So it's a property buyout. So these fallen down properties that I'm talking about, well, they're supposed to be buying those out. Well, how is that working? How are you doing that? We can't watch the fiscal court meetings. I don't know why they haven't done a YouTube channel or a Facebook. I mean, heck, even Mayor Weddle's got a Facebook that they show their city council meetings on every week or month. Letcher County could do that. And it would be a lot easier. They could do it with their phone and upload it that way, or do it live. Either way. It's not like you'd have to go buy a whole big bunch of equipment and do this and do that. No. Changing the outcome of the primary. I got too far down here. I think you'd really be interested in the Pike District Court docket for May 6th. My dog's over here snoring like crazy, y'all. I tried to smack her or throw something at her and stuff and get all embarrassed, but ain't nothing I can do about it. She's in the last part of her life, so let her snore. Maybe they're using the same audits and changing the dates. I never thought about that. I doubt it. Loopholes. Oh, yeah. See you later. Thank you for reminding me. Sadly, registered independents cannot vote in the primaries. That takes their vote for representation away. It sure does. So they're only allowed to vote in the general election. So if you're a registered independent, you can only vote in the general. Audit results are found on most state websites. Yeah, went through ours, Reagan. We've done read ours. And it's just the same thing every day or every time. And one of the things was the same as that guy that we just watched who was getting charged for it in Irvine, whichever one you want to call it. Bug. Create strife in the land and disrupt the way of life. The colleges are full of communists and they are teaching your kids and you are paying for it. Well, it's really getting bad. I was helping someone file an appeal with CPS and requested records. Still waiting on them 4 months later. Good for you, honey. That's what I had to do. I had to file my appeal with CPS and I won. It's the only way. You have to ask for an administrative hearing because you're allowed to have one. You're entitled to it. And I wanted my administrative hearing. I wanted somebody to hear what they did. I wanted accountability. I wanted them to have to answer for what they did. And they sent me a settlement agreement. They didn't even let us get to the hearing. I won it without even having to go to it. But that's the only way you can win is to file that appeal. There's no other way that I've found to be able to fight it. And you're just forced to endure whatever it is that they do to you. You're just forced to endure it until it's over when you can file that appeal. I don't think that's fair at all. Good old boys make that laws and break the same laws. Yep. Double standards, nepotism. My God. Most money loops right back to the distributors. Yep, it all stays in a big circle, and they just keep pushing it around and around and around. So you got somebody who's, so you've only got a certain few who's keeping those millions and millions of dollars circulating. And it's all going around and around and around. Well, we need a company that can do this. And so we're going to create that over there so we can give the contract to them so that money stays where we need it to be. And we need a company that can do this. So we need to make sure that we've got George over here that can fill that and get that together. So that way we can make sure that that contract goes to them. So that money is, I mean, you know, it's very easy to manipulate that stuff. Oh, well, my brother-in-law owns a company that can do this for us. So we can get that covered. Carpenter, Elizabeth, you're telling the truth. Yep. Funny about that. That's one of my concerns for Kentucky is one-party consent state. From what I've experienced so far, won't surprise me if they check my phone. Yeah, well, one-party state, meaning it only takes one person, one side, to record somebody. So, in some states, both parties have to be aware that you're recording a conversation. But in Kentucky, it's only a one-party state. So both people who are in part of a conversation don't have to be aware. How on earth did she steal all that money and get by with it? All those homes and cars, I cannot imagine. I can't neither. And who else was involved? You know, she didn't do that on her own. You know, there was at least a dozen people that was either involved and or aware. Having some bad storms, so everybody pray for the weather, for the people that are in the path of the weather. A sitting judge in New Mexico harboring an illegal criminal and even bought an assault rifle for the person. Now the judge and his wife are arrested. Today, arresting a judge in Milwaukee just gets deeper. Yeah. Let me see. I thought there was something else that I was wanting to let's see. There have been a couple people that have went missing here recently that I've seen. Sorry, y'all. One of my friends took a picture of my eyes all big and sent it to me. It was funny. I forgot what I was even saying. There have been several stories that I've been reading and getting ready for the show. And one of them, let's talk about ego a little bit. One of them was, I don't even know what state it was in. Washington County, Virginia. Oh, no, that was something else. This was, does it say what state it was in? Iowa. It was in Iowa. So this boy was a wide receiver for a college football team, was not drinking alcohol, was not on any kind of rugs. He gets pulled over by these two cops that accuse, and he said that he had his bright lights on. He said, well, I've got a light out, so I left it on my brights so both of them would work. He said, well, you're not allowed to do that. And he's like, okay, well, I'm sorry. License and registration. He gives it to him. Says that he smells alcohol. He suspects that he is impaired, has him get out to do field sobriety tests. He didn't do really great on them, but it was just like small things, like he didn't hear the cop say, do a certain thing, so he kind of missed a couple things on him, but he was not slurring his speech. He was not falling. He wasn't failing the test. Okay. And there's body cam footage of it. So I watched it all. But he did fine on the impairment side. Now, maybe he wasn't paying attention to a couple of things, but he's 21 years old or something. His eyes were not watery. His eyes were not, did not look bad. He did not look intoxicated in any way, shape, or form. He says, give me a breathalyzer. Let me prove it to you. So he gives him a breathalyzer. He takes it, blows zeros, triple zeros all the way across it. So then the guy starts saying, well, how long has it been since you smoked any Mary Jane? Oh, man, I don't even remember. I don't do it. He's an athlete. Big time athlete, too. The guy arrests him. Puts handcuffs on him. Arrests him. The whole time he's saying, man, I'm not intoxicated. What is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? But he was cooperative. He did not fight them. He did not resist arrest. He got down to the station, whatever. Well, he filed a lawsuit against the city, the mayor's office, the police department, and an appeals court has given him the go-ahead, because a lot of these people have what's called qualified immunity. So you are not allowed to sue a policeman or whatever in that capacity. Well, they took their qualified immunity away from them. This guy's able to sue them now for damages. And I think that's wonderful because they give way too many bad actors qualified immunity. Way too many. And they hide behind that. And that's one of the things that gives them the confidence and arrogance, I guess, that they're not going to get caught with what they're doing. And it's wrong. It's dirty and it's wrong. And I've got the the body cam, and so we're going to watch that maybe tomorrow if y'all want to watch that. We'll do that during the day. Let me get down here and see. You all have a good night. Yeah, there's a lot of people are going ahead and getting off. We'll go ahead and end this one tonight, guys. Politics in general is okay. Just please no personal name calling for parties of either sides. Yeah. In Hawkins County, the sheriff's son, Alabama, I think it says, was convicted of being with his daughters and her friends. He was a preacher. He got 20 years, served 1 in county jail and 19 years probation. Yep, it's awful. Yes, they've got Hillbilly Days in Pikeville. I'm not sure when it is. Do you know? Hillbilly Days is a little festival that they have in Pikeville. And it'll be coming up here soon. They have it for like a weekend. And then it's like the very next weekend, they have Jenkins Days here in Jenkins. And then you have Neon Days in Neon. And then you have the Black Gold Festival in Hazard. And then the Heritage Festival, something Heritage in Whitesburg, Mountain Heritage in Whitesburg. They only charge $18 for French fries at Hillbilly Days too. Yeah, get a lemonade for $10. And they always have it at the first of the month or at the end of the month. Is it the first of the month or the end of the month? Last time everybody was complaining, saying, I don't know why they always have it at the end of the month when nobody's got any money. If they had it at the first of the month, everybody would get their checks and they'd spend their whole check. Maybe that's why they don't want them to do that. Yes, I've told my CPS story. We'll tell it again another time. Let's see. It's just too long. And it's depressing, you know. It's depressing to relive. It re-traumatizes you when you have to tell your story over and over and over again. I mean, not so much me, I'm okay, but just thinking about victims of sexual misconduct and assault and all that stuff. Whenever you tell your story, you're re-traumatized. Whenever you're a victim of this justice system, when you've been victimized by your own attorney, by your own defense attorney, or your own lawyer that you hired for your divorce, and they've sold you out. That stuff is hard to talk about. It is very hard to talk about. And, you know, when you've had to keep it quiet for so long too, it's hard. Mountaintop Media has been covering it extensively. What are we talking about? AEP has a demo booth for Hillbilly Days. I think that's what they're talking about. AEP should be embarrassed and ashamed to even show their face in any town in this area. Like, I'm surprised they're not scared to drive in there. If I was, I would be terrified. I'd be scared to death to come in and represent AEP in these mountains. No. Make sure I didn't have no shirt on that had the logo on the lapel. If there's an independent on the ballot, see Hatfield, I may be wrong, but I believe an independent can vote in the primary if there is an independent on the ballot. Interesting. Thank you, honey. This weekend is Hillbilly Days. Oh, okay. So it's going on right now. This is Friday, so it's down there now. Well, thanks for telling me, because I didn't know it. Speaking of Whitesburg, Casey and Vicky White were on Crime Nation last night. We'll have to look at that. We'll have to find that and see. Our state could and did look at our computers at any time. We had a person in our office was using his laptop to look at Chomo stuff. He lost his job, not sure the penalty, no jail time. They don't want to tell it. If they initiate any kind of criminal proceeding or charges, then they'd have to explain what happened and why they had an employee doing stuff like that. I think they just like to push all that stuff up underneath the rug so they don't get in trouble. All right, guys. Oh, Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for another day. We come to you, Lord, with just thankfulness in our hearts that you woke us up this morning, Lord. We thank you for the guidance. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your mercy and your grace, Lord. I thank you that you saved my soul. I pray that you forgive me for my sins, Lord. And just guide me, show me the path. I pray that you put a watch over my mouth, Lord, and things that I should not say. I pray that you help give me the wisdom to know not to say them. I ask that you pray for all of us, everybody who's out there under the sound of my voice, Lord, if they're going through any kind of medical problem, if they've got any kind of health issue, Lord, we pray that you'll touch them. And the Bible says that, all we have to do is try to touch the hem of your garment, Lord. All you have to do is speak the word. So we pray that you will speak the word healing, Lord. We pray that you will speak us healed. We love you, Jesus. We praise you. We worship you, Lord. You are the all-knowing and all-powerful God. And I just praise you, Lord. Until we come and meet back again tomorrow, Lord, keep us safe and go before us. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. Well, you have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. We kind of got to triple time it until the end of the month. But we're living on faith. God will provide. He always does. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Peace out, Girl Scout and Boy Scout.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no